My name is Bryce and I'm a dreamer. Both waking and sleeping, my rich and vivid imagination has been keeping life interesting since I was very little. So I'm going to share those dreams with you, and I'd love for you to share your dreams with me. Let's do this together in a little place that I like to call Somewhere in Dreamworld. Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Midnight Notion Somewhere in Dreamworld podcast. I am Bryce Kalla, I'm your host, and this episode could have been brought to you by pancakes. Did you know that you can...
Always food.
Shh, there's no one else here. Did you know that you can mix ingredients together and then put them into a frying pan and end up with pancakes after some time has happened? You could maybe flip them over, and then you could put butter on them, or syrup, or jelly, or any other, I don't know, people have preferences that they have for food, and one of those preferences could be pancakes. So have some pancakes or order them today.
Always food.
It's whatever I was just thinking about, which just happens to be food. Welcome to the podcast. My guest today is Malcom Messer.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Malcom is a fellow creative from the Twin Cities area, or just outside of, I should probably say.
Like the boonies, I guess. Like through the closet, past the clothes, Narnia. Like just in the woods.
And then at the edge of Narnia.
Yeah,
on the other side.
Yeah.
Is there a map? What's the map of Narnia? Is it snow on the one side and like a volcano on the other?
It's probably something like the seasons go geographically. So at first it's snow, and then the further out you get, it just turns into like this blazing hot desert.
Right.
And I'm somewhere in the middle, like this grasslandy, farmy place called Now Then, up by like Elk River. About an hour out of the Twin Cities, I guess.
I always get a kick out of the name of that town because it just seems like, okay, what should we name this area?
Yeah.
Well, then...
Right, like they were like trying to decide, and they're just having a conversation. Well, originally it was Burns Township, I'm pretty sure. And then the guy who like came up with the town name was just someone who resided there forever. And that was just like a catchphrase he would always say, you know, in between stuff when people go like, but or okay, he was just like, no then, and then continue on. So
I'm really curious about the idea, or I'm interested by the idea that someone would replace with now then. I feel like that's a lot of now thens and also more syllables.
Yeah, I mean, probably, but he got a town named after him, so worth it, right? Like, the
just
benefit.
Imagining like the political speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now then, I wanted to, now then.
Yeah, maybe he was like more grammatically correct than most people. Maybe it was only like once every like section of speech compared to everyone else is going, Has anybody ever gone to the welcome to now then sign and just put a comma between now and then like an ellipses at the end? I mean, I haven't seen anything yet. Maybe I should go do it. Every time I pass it, I just look at the population because it's like 4,443. And I'm like, if I just had a kid, it'd be 4444.
Oh,
but
yes.
That's not enough motivation to let me have a kid. It's up there, but it's not enough. You know.
So sometimes you just to get that. Well, so then what happens is you have a kid, but then somebody else does.
I know, but like, here's the thing: if I had the kid first, my kid would still be 4,444. I'd probably name him or her 4,444. And then the next kid is born. I'm like, you lost.
Yeah, too bad.
You didn't
get
win.
A normal name.
Yeah,
sorry, bud.
Yeah, sorry, Jake. Yeah, that's what you get. But at the same time, you know, it's like you snooze, you lose. Like,
yeah, if you get born too late, it just sucks to be you.
Yeah, it should have been better.
Well, thank you for coming in and doing this. I should also mention that Malcolm is a good friend of mine. We've known each other for 5 years.
Well, we met through my brother because he was dating your cousin or your friend's cousin.
It was like my friend's. It's one of my friend's sisters. And just by hanging out with them, and then I think it started at a convention, right?
You and I's first hangout. You came over for like one of my family's board game days or something because my brother was like obsessed with you at first. He was like, he's like the coolest guy ever, and this and that. And then I think you, me, and my brother and sister went and saw a movie.
Okay.
I think maybe we saw The Dark Knight.
Oh,
might have been the first time. I don't know if that was the right movie or not, but there was that. And then you showed me Mojo Kickball and the huge theater, and I went to a couple of those. And you and I just ended up vibing a lot more. We had a lot of things in common, so you and I ended up hanging out. Hanging out.
We hung up
We
all
hung
of
up
the phones.
all the time. Yeah.
What's new in life? What's anything big going on? Anything coming up?
Yeah, in about a month, end of October, I get to travel, which is awesome because I never get to travel.
Yeah.
I mean, recently, like a couple years ago, I went to Florida, and that was kind of cool, But I mean, it's universal. Once you've been there, you've been there. So in a month or so, I'm going to like Oregon, Washington area. It's like right on the border, and that'll be cool because I haven't seen the ocean. I've technically only seen the Gulf because when we went to Florida, I was like, this is it. This is the ocean, finally. And my friend Ingram's just like, actually, this is just the Gulf. So your like aspirations and dreams are still not successfully like achieved. And I was like, dude, oh my gosh. Like,
how could you do such
How could you just say that to me? You knew I like came here for that reason. And we drove like 2 hours. It was like we were in Universal and we rented a car and we drove like 2.5 hours to Clearwater Beach. And I'm like, it's the ocean. He's like, it's just the Gulf. But, technicalities. But Oregon will be super cool, or Washington or wherever I end up staying. And there's like, I'm huge on Jamba Juice. There's one in Maple Grove if you haven't been there. And where I'm staying, there's like 15 Jamba Juices in like 10 minutes of like area. So like,
so you're just set.
I'm just excited for Jamba Juice and like a walk away. Like, I love Jamba Juice.
Is that the reason? Be real. That's the reason you're going there. It's not for the ocean. It's
no,
like
not at all. It's 100% Jamba Juice. That's why I want to live in Maple Grove. That's like the only Jamba Juice around here.
So, just so you know, listeners, this episode is also could have been brought to you by Jamba Juice.
Jamba Juice, 100%. Osseo Primo Bowls. I live off of that right now. It's my favorite. Like, I think the first time I had Jamba Juice was like, I don't know, like a month and a half ago. And the first week that I discovered it, I follow this group online called like Braille Skateboard, and they teach you how to do stuff. And they're always like, yeah, if you land this trick, Jamba Juice. And I'm like, okay, sweet. What's Jamba Juice? I have no idea. And then when I found out there's one in Maple Grove, I was like, we need to go. And I went 6 times in the 1 week, like every day. And by the last time I went that week, I was like, I've been spending $15 every day. And I was just like, I spent like $100 on Jamba Juice, and I don't regret it. It was totally worth it.
Money well spent. Well, that's great. Hey, what do you say we talk about some dreams?
Yeah. I mean, most of mine are nightmares, but
that's
it is
great.
What it is.
Nightmares make for great stories, so I think that means it's time to go to sleep. So Malcolm, have you had any recent dreams, like in the last couple days or weeks, that have really stuck out?
Yeah, I mean, the one that probably sticks out the most was a few days ago, and it had like this Groundhog's Day vibe to it. Okay. And like, it's so weird for me to say that because I haven't even seen Groundhog's Day, but I know like what it's about, the reoccurring day and stuff like that.
No, it's actually just about groundhogs.
I think it's actually just about that super funny actor. I can't think of his name right now.
God. Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. I almost said Bill Cosby, and that's definitely not it.
No.
Yeah. But no, basically how the dream starts off is I wake up like in this field, and there's like this abandoned like shack. But I don't want to call it a shack because it's not like a shed. It's like this like building, but it's not a house. It's like a warehouse almost, And I'm just like, it's the zombie apocalypse. Like I just knew it was, or like vampires or something like that. And I was you just know things in your dreams that you don't normally know. You just have that knowledge. And I'm like, I'm going to fortify this shack or whatever and hold out because that's what I need to do to survive. And so I start boarding up windows and doors and stuff. And then like this mother and child come, and they kind of look like nuns now that I think about, like the drapes and whatever. And they're like, we need your help. We're trying to survive. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Just come on in. And they help me board up the walls and stuff. And we're trying to stay for the night. And it's nighttime and we hear some noise in the attic. And I'm like, well, I'm the man. I guess I'll check it out, right? And I open it.
Like, what?
Like, it's like in those traditional movies, it's like in Titanic when it's like women and children first. Like, the man's like the brave one. You're supposed to go.
So you're
and like, despite all of that, like, my brain's like, yeah, you're probably going to die, but it's cool. Like, it's not a big deal. And it was like one of those old school attics where it's like you pull the string and the stairs come out.
Sure.
Or fall down. And I pull it down and this like zombie or vampire or whatever just lunges at me. And I die. And I like...
Oh.
Yeah.
Like came from the ladder.
Yeah. It came down and just like lunged at me.
Yeesh.
And it tackled me and I died.
Oh.
Like it just went black. And so I wake up and I'm in the field and I'm just like, okay, maybe that was just a dream, like within a dream, Inception stuff. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to fortify this shack. And I start like putting up boards on the windows and doors. And then the lady shows up again. I'm like, this is the same day. So she starts helping me like build stuff and like, fortify the place. And I'm like, we're taking care of the attic this time, So we board up the boards in the attic and stuff and make sure like no one can get in there. And we last like one day. And then the next day more people show up and like it keeps going. And I think we got to like the third or fourth day. And stuff kept going wrong. And like, I remember breaking like a light bulb doing something and the room went black. And then I woke up in the field again. I'm like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I don't even know how I died this time. Like I broke a light bulb and then like, I'm dead. And then eventually like, doing the same thing every day for like weeks at a time. And then I like let these people in later on, like another people in the group was like, we need your help. And I'm like, yeah, come on in. And then they ended up killing me. Like, so then at the end of it, like I finally woke up in like real time and I'm like, well, that was kind of cool. That was like Groundhog's Day. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't trust anyone. Like I help them and they're just there to like steal my supplies and take over. It was a very Walking Dead vibe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the moral of the story is that you just can't get ahead no matter what happens.
Yeah, doesn't matter. And like, even if you try to like not repeat your mistakes, another mistake's going to come.
Right.
Like you got it.
Sure.
Yeah. But you always get a second chance, So
yeah,
it's okay.
You're just going to wake up in a field somewhere and everything's okay.
You'll know what to do if you wake up in a field. Don't trust anyone.
What's intriguing to me, and I've had some long dreams as well, but that seems like a long dream.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that was super weird about it is like, because your brain works in such a fast manner anyway, it's like a dream that feels like it was weeks or hours for me. It was probably like seconds in real time.
Yeah.
But like for me in that dream, I dream in such like a cinematic way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that was probably like 40 seconds and then it was like black, scene change. And then it was like another 40 seconds, black, scene change. So although it seemed like it was like 3 weeks, I think even in my dream at the bottom, it has, the subtitles pop up. It's like 3 weeks later. Yeah.
No way.
My brain works so weird. And it's always doing like different like camera angles and stuff too. Like when I say like, something happens, the way you see in your head is probably how I saw it in my dream. Like it's just like the way, like maybe from watching TV or movies so much, it's just the way my brain processes images now.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's always been like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is fascinating as hell. I don't know that I've talked to anybody that's had subtitles in their dreams before.
It's weird. I don't really know. I mean, I used to have these, like my brain just works on like hyperspeed too. Like I remember when this is off topic from the dream thing, but even when I was learning sign language, I had taken Spanish in like middle school. And when I first started signing, I would talk in Spanish in my head when I signed.
Weird.
Because it was just easier.
Huh.
Like, I don't know why. And I don't even retain any Spanish now. I know like hola. And that's like it. You can tell by my thick Hispanic accent, hola. But like my brain's just constantly going.
Wow.
So I just think it's easier for my brain to process it maybe.
Yeah.
To have it like that instead of having like emotional things to me to like have to delve into my dream. I'm just like, oh, it's like a movie. take it for what it is, you know?
So I on the note of a long dream, do you sleep really well? Do you get
No, my dreams are like those lucid, half awake, half asleep dreams where like this just happened like a week ago, actually. I was on the couch and me and my family were watching some TV show, and I was like, I'm super tired. I've been awake since like 3 a.m. I'm going to go to sleep. So, you know, I just like close my eyes. I'm resting on the couch and I completely block out the TV and I'm asleep. Like I'm resting, so to speak, I guess. And someone in my family goes like, oh yeah, he's sleeping. They were having a conversation about me and they're like, yeah, he's asleep. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not asleep. I can hear everything you say, but I was totally asleep. But like I could hear it like in my head while I was sleeping, and it caused enough of like they're talking about me to like wake up.
right?
So yeah, most of my nights of sleeping or dreaming, unless I'm like exhausted, is just like super lucid, and I can control stuff in my dreams and things like that.
That is a topic for another time. I feel like we could talk about lucidity for a long time. What I'm interested in, there is another dream that you told me about that I think would be really cool to share with the listeners. Because, like you said, very cinematic and very long.
Yeah.
But this dream has something in it that I will talk about it afterward. But do you mind sharing it with people?
You're talking about the nightmare one,
the
right?
big one,
the big one, the Moonlight Sonata.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that what should we call it? The Moonlight Sonata?
Yeah. Oh man. Just that song gives me the chills now just because of this dream. Like originally it was for a different reason, and now it's just like the guy's face. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, the thing that was so weird about this dream in general is the fact that like I said, I dream in like cinematic-y kind of things. But on top of that, I was a female in this dream.
Okay.
And at the time, like this is probably, oh man, I had just moved into our new house, so it's probably like 10 years ago, something like that, and it still sticks with me. But not only that, because at that time I was probably like 15, and in this dream I was like 24, 25-year-old female, which is just super strange to me because I don't know why that would even be like a subconscious thing. But it opens up like I'm in like this ballroom type area, like very like Beauty and the Beast kind of cathedral-y looking thing. And it's like an overhead pan shot, and I'm just like passed out on the ground, and I'm alone. I'm just like on my side, long brown hair or whatever. Just, again, also strange. I had brown hair, not blonde hair. Like this girl looked nothing like me.
Sure.
In any way.
But you knew in the dream that was you.
Yeah, but it was weird because I was watching, like, I was having her thoughts. Like the way she was reacting is because of how I was reacting, but I was watching myself react.
Weird.
Like I was watching the whole movie play out from afar. It would be like if...
it's a third person.
Yeah, it's very third person. It was super weird. It'd be like I'm watching the whole thing happen and her do these choices in front of me. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, stop. And like me as the girl, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm just going to do this. And I just had to watch it happen.
Huh.
Anyway, so I wake up and I'm all alone and I'm in like this giant castle type place. And this butler walks up. It's just like this fat butler, mustache, monocle looking kind of thing, bowler hat, you know, just like
the
that. Monopoly guy, but like fatter, like just a big gut, right? And he's just like, oh, like, it's okay. You're safe now. You're in like this count's house or castle or something like that. It's an orphanage. You're taken care of. And I have complete amnesia. I have no idea who I am, where I am, what happened, anything. And he tells me that they like found me on the street kind of thing, and that there was signs of me being abused and like beaten and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, whatever that means. Like, I have no idea. Like, this is a brand new dream. It's not a reoccurring one. And I fall back asleep and in the cathedral thing. And I wake up and I'm in a bed in the dream. And it was very like old school horror vibe. Like the camera like tilted to give it that weird like off edge feeling, and like everything was like a bluish tint, you know. It's like in those horror movies where you look down a hallway and it's just blue and you're like, nah, I'm not going down there. I know death lies down there.
Right.
It had that like tone and tinge to it. And then this window slams open and there's like white curtains and this breeze rolls in, very like cinematic-y too, where it's like it shows the window and then the camera pans and follows the breeze.
Wow.
Where it goes like,
Yeah.
you know, and like leaves blowing and stuff. And I'm in my bed and I hear this breathing, right? This, and Moonlight Sonata starts playing. For some odd reason, just that dun, 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 you know, just starts going off, and I'm just like frozen to my core. I feel like I can actually feel the breeze, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do? And this guy comes out of the shadows, just coming at me. Half of his face is gone, missing half of his teeth, bright yellow eyes, like slicked back hair, and like half of it just looks like his head got like tore up or something, but he's missing like half his teeth, and for some reason, like, that was just so terrifying to me. He didn't have like sharp teeth. He just looked like a normal dude, but half of his face was missing, and just this long jawline. He looked like very like Transylvanian, I guess, if I was gonna like stereotype a typical type of thing, you know. And he's coming at me and just and I freak out and I slam my eyes shut and I like pass out from like panicking. And I remember like me having this like view of like her eyelids closing, you know, and just like that squint. And the last thing I see before my eyes close is like him going back into the shadows. I'm just like, holy crap, right? So I wake up again and I'm in the cathedral place on the ground, like in the ballroom place, alone again. And it's storming outside, and I look out this window that's far away, and I see this one silhouette of another guy just like kicking someone off of a cliff, right? And just the silhouette of like lightning, and I see it happen, just like this, boom, just like gets kicked off all dramatically, right? Pass out again. Wake up. There's cops everywhere, and they tell me that like the count who owns the castle tried to kill me last night, and that he has been taking the orphans and abusing them and killing them, and there's been like orphans missing like all month. And the reason why I showed up is because they found me on the street and I was one of his victims, but I lived.
Oh wow.
And then the butler was like a private detective that just like kind of like infiltrated the mansion and got in because he suspected him, and the butler's the one who like kicked the count off the cliff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like I was okay, the orphanage was okay, the count was dead, the butler's like a baller. Like he's just like the hero of it all, you know.
Wow.
But very cinematic and just very odd. And I don't know why in that specific dream I had to be like a girl. Like I feel like there's some kind of hidden meaning behind that. Like some sort of like something I don't necessarily like understand yet. But that dream's always stuck with me. And now every time I hear like Moonlight Sonata, I like think of the guy's face.
Yeah.
And like when I had that dream, when I woke up, because I woke up in real time after I saw his face, and I went back to sleep and I saw him again. And I woke up and I didn't go back to sleep for like 3 hours. Like, because every time I close my eyes, I hear Moonlight Sonata playing. Like, I swear I could hear it like in the room next to me. And I was just like freezing, and I was like, there's totally something in my room. Like, I don't know, you know, if you believe in like ghosts or spirits or anything, but at that point I was like, yo, there's something in here like watching me. And I was just super uncomfortable.
Yeah. What's really interesting to me is that I don't often think about sound in dreams.
Right.
I think there's such a visual thing that happens to us. And I know that people have said that they have troubles reading and like things, simple physics don't work the same. Clocks don't function. Lights don't turn on. But what's really interesting to me is that you had a specific song that was playing and that you heard it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't typically have dreams like that.
Really?
Like that was like the only one really. I mean, I don't think so. None that I remember.
I can't think of one in my memory that a sound played such a role.
Well, it's such an iconic song in general, you know. It's like if you know, any like piano classical stuff, like,
that's one of the first ones that you learn.
Yeah, and like it just has such an eerie tone to it. So I mean, it was fitting, but that's the only dream I remember that had like any kind of song or a sound that I can recognize, really.
That's crazy. Do you have you thought on this dream at all and what it could mean or what it means to you?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, not like super in depth, but I look at the basic characteristics of the dream and the fact that I didn't know anything. I was in a body that I have no idea, any knowledge about, at least like physically being in that type of body, that being like a female, and being in a place of complete unknown, like this random cathedral mansion place, in a place of danger where I know like these kids are getting like abused and killed, and there's like a killer on the loose and all this stuff. And then just not really having any ability to do anything, because the most I ever did in the dream was watch and then pass out. It was just like this idea of like not having control at all, but in the end of it all still like worked out.
Crazy.
So I think the idea behind, or what I can take away from it, is, you know, in the scenarios where you feel like you don't have control or you're uncomfortable, it's like it's gonna work out. It'll still be okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of and again, I repeat to the listeners, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trained in dream analysis, but a lot of what I have read about the perception of death, your own death in a dreams, a lot of people, especially the person who influenced this podcast, Charles McPhee, the dream doctor, would say that that death, when you die in your dreams, a lot of times it's like you're going through a metamorphosis. It's like you're changed, like something in your life maybe changed, or you're becoming a new person.
Oh,
somehow.
totally. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Was there anything at that age that you think could have triggered, like there was a major change, or was it just as simple as you had been playing Monopoly while watching Beauty and the Beast?
Right. Well, now that I think about it, around the age that I had, it was probably like 13, 14, 15, right? So there's the whole puberty aspect of it, right? And not just mine, but everyone around me. So there's that. I had moved, so I was in a whole new house. I wasn't around like any of my friends. There's probably like some enormous amount of stress involved and just not knowing anything. So maybe it could be something like that. Sure. Not knowing my own body, maybe that's like literal. And the fact that in the dream, I didn't know my body. Yeah. I was a female. I didn't know anything. You know, so subconsciously maybe something like that. Yeah. I'm not really sure, but I mean, it's kind of cool when they think about it now that I think about it.
I feel like that dream deserves a movie.
Dude.
Or at least...
You don't even know, all my dreams are like that. And I've woken up and been like, yeah, that could be a movie. If I just had the ability and the equipment, you know, maybe I could.
Well, speaking of waking up, I think it's time to wake up. So, Malcolm, do you have any dreams for your life? Any big projects that you really wish you could do that aren't currently in the works?
Yeah, I mean, like you said when you introduced me, you know, you introduced me as a fellow creative, and that's just because I like dabble in so many things. And right now I'm trying to find just a way to really utilize it and put it all together into one kind of thing. I really, the big one right now is I'm trying to work on creating this brand where any money that I get from like the t-shirts or merchandise or anything that I sell, there'll be like $1 a month that can be adjusted, and that's how much you can donate to these charities and things like that. So what's huge for me is like, I really feel like as far as schooling goes, like art classes and music classes and tech classes should not be the first ones to be cut. Right. They teach you so much more of like problem solving and teamwork and like persistence, and there's way more that you take away from those classes, and it's way more enjoyable, I think, than, you know, going through a 2 + 2 = 4, so to speak. And with that, I mean, I don't have names or anything set in stone yet, because I have to go through like legal filing of stuff and make sure my LCC is up and whatever. But you know, be on the lookout for that. Next time I'm on, if I am on, I'll for sure pitch it. Sure. But for now, that's just what I got going on. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to give back to the community and things like that. Awesome.
And then you also mentioned to me that this could be potentially practice for you.
Yeah, definitely. I want to do a local music podcast, or just an alternative scene podcast of music. I just really love music and lyrics and just all sorts of music, metal, pop punk, country, like anything, you know, and just really diving deep into it. And like, I think it'd be interesting to have local bands come on the podcast and talk about like success and failures and really give advice to up and coming artists and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of music, that music means it's over. Thank you so much for coming onto this podcast, Malcolm.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I had fun.
Awesome. If you had fun listening and you want to contribute to the show, you can submit your dreams at midnightnotion.com, or you can call 612-643-0944 to submit a voice recording of your dream. And once I have a few of them built up, I'll do an episode just for the listener dreams. So look forward to that. Anywho, this episode could have been brought to you by Pancakes. I've been Bryce Kalal. This has been Malcom Messer. And we'll see you next time on Somewhere in Dreamworld. Until then, sleep well, dream well, and be well.